Welcome back, everybody, to the Time Center podcast. I'm your host, Gabe Dunnett, and today we have another familiar face here. And, of course, he's another fellow researcher, none other than...
Hey, guys, it's Carter Dutton again, and today we're back on the topic of Poppy Playtime, going over a lot of the new stuff pertaining to the ARG.
This has a lot of stuff to do with the Hour of Joy, and it actually answers a lot of questions. By the way, the game releases is only 18 days away.
It's so close.
It's literally only 2.5 weeks away. We are so close to the release. But without further ado, cue the intro. Okay, so for the topic of today, we are going to talk about the brand new restricted VHS tape that was just released to the ARG, and with all the many updates and stuff that went along with it right before we talk about the video, but the video will be our main topic for today. And Carter is going to be watching it for the first time.
I have not seen this before.
He has waited this whole time to get this video up and going, and like I said, we're going to try to keep you all up to date as much as we possibly can, and it looks like that there's going to be weekly updates all the way to the release, and still got that gameplay trailer to come out too.
We're still waiting on that.
Exactly. So right before Carter watches the video, we're going to talk about how, so the ARG has been updating every week, the last 2 weeks, and it's had the same correlation.
Right.
The first week, it updated on Wednesday, and we have a big, huge video that we talked about. If you want to go check that out, it was our recent last video, or I could leave it in the description. But we talked about how this new user came onto the Discord, started talking with everyone, said they were talking with us back in 96? It was a year or so after the Hour of Joy. It gave us a whole bunch of images. It gave us other VHS tape that talked about Catnap and all that type of stuff. We can go into major details in our other video. Like I said, go check that out. On Wednesday, they shocked us with another upload. It completely caught me off guard. The Discord person, same reason, they didn't do any more chatter and stuff in the Discord, but what people started to realize that their profile got updated with special URL links. So again, it took us to a special zip folder that had a whole bunch of pictures in it, and then a last blocked I guess you got another zip folder, but it had a password to get into it.
Yes.
And so after you go over everything in all the PNG images, it went over all like different notes that were left behind, like during the Hour of Joy that scientists actually left and what they experienced and how they survived a little bit. That's going to get more in depth here, where it reveals a huge thing that Carter, you will see here in just a second. But it also, to give us better close-up images, it gave us a big, huge song lists of everything in what possibly could be in chapter 5. And then also there was a user who said that they left a whole bunch of recordings and stuff that their father used to work in the factory. This person right here, what they said was could possibly be same reason this user that gave all of this information.
Yeah, that's the link between the two, is because they gave us that information to go off of, and then the information that was on the account itself brought us to the music list and the person who said their dad died in the factory. So that's what we have so far, and that is the only link we have between those two different subjects.
Exactly. Yep, that's right. So if you there was special secret hidden messages throughout, like obviously we talked about a lot in the last video. They did the same thing again. Luckily, there was people on Discord who took care of us.
Shout out to Sheep Rampage and Poppy Theory once again.
Yes, once again. Very, very helpful. But if you take this, it leads you into a guy like back. It's an old story, Gilgamesh.
Gilgamesh, yes.
So how a guy was obsessed with immortality, but it comes back into play with Poppy Playtime. How the prototype and everybody else, like the scientists and stuff like that, were trying to get immortality with all these experiments and everything, especially the prototype. but he realized that it's just basically impossible. But Gilgamesh, if you take that and you put it into the last zip folder that is locked, you would be able to get into the last bit of information you need, which was a document that we went over that had PW's imprint on it, but it was all glitched out.
Right.
But now we got a clear up picture on what it was. And Carter, do you want to say what was on that just mini email that was sent out to
Stella Graber.
Yep,
And
that
it
is
was
right.
asking if they could talk. He felt like they should talk. Do you feel that too? That was from PW to Stella. It was pointed out to me very interesting is what would there be to talk about?
This is where the video would come into play right here. PW, Preston Williams. So now we officially know his full name.
Yes.
He is inside this video like he was in the one that was released a week ago. And we got Rebecca something. I'm sorry, I forgot. Let's just say the Hour of Joy was not based on just the prototype.
Interesting.
So we're going to go ahead and let's show Carter this video. This video is about 3.5 minutes long. It's Carter, let's check out this video.
Let's do it. That is a weird device. That's 8/8/1995. That's the Hour of Joy.
Things are quiet out there. Not sure if that's good or bad.
Someone will come for us. We just need to sit tight.
Jessica?
They'll send a team, specialists probably. It's going to be one hell of a cleanup operation.
Okay. It's a bit
When we
afterwards.
get back to that lift, it should be a straight shot to the surface.
But back here, see? Does Bio even connect to the executive lift? I don't think it does. Maybe diagram all four, the service shaft to the train terminal, the train...
No, all four is facing east. It's backwards.
They're trying to find a way out.
Backwards. It has to connect to this map can be right.
Oh, wow. They've been here a while.
Once we're out, where will you go?
Well, I suppose I'd owe my wife a few explanations, wouldn't I? Not that that makes up for anything.
At least you have a life to go back to. Growing up in play care, running back as soon as I had my degree. My entire life was here.
That's,
Sad? I never thought about it that way. Not until this.
well, maybe this is what we get. For all we've done. For...
It's a calendar.
You don't have anything to apologize for. We were doing good work. It's not your fault this all blew up in our faces.
But
Preston, you don't...
Can you give us a
I
sign?
just couldn't stand by and watch it happen anymore.
What are you saying?
I didn't know they would. I had no other choice.
You let them... You let them...
Yeah, I'm watching it.
And you didn't think they would do something like this? Tell me this is some kind of joke. My God, how could you do that?
Not just me. There were others, and we all knew this wasn't right. I think you know that too.
No, don't try to rationalize it just because you got cold feet, because you couldn't stomach the work.
Oh, the work. The work was wrong.
It's not that simple. You were still a part of it as much as the rest of us. We were supposed...
Run! Oh. Oh, is it the big dude? It's a big dude!
So Carter, there is the video for you. So
Wow, that's a lot.
So that's a lot to take in, but this is going to be the main discussion for this video leading into chapter 5. So, what is your initial reaction to the video?
Okay, so it was a conversation between PW and the
Rebecca.
other lady, Rebecca. Basically, they were, even in the last video with Catnap, they were
Yes.
playing Angel and Devil. like seeing the good and bad sides of this.
And now we can kind of see why, though. Do you know why? Because she grew up in play care. She never had it. Okay, sounds a little harsh to say. She never had a family. She
sad.
left, graduated, went to college, got a degree, and came back as a scientist.
Wild.
So that kind of makes sense a little bit.
How she's desensitized to it.
Yep, exactly.
She's been around it her whole life. That makes sense. Yeah. And then they were found after the heat of their argument. So I guess that the person writing that paper after PW died might have just been the big dude that also caught Rebecca.
Piggy off on that. I don't think it was the big guy. I guess you're talking about like the monster or something like that?
Yeah,
no,
the one in the teaser image that was with Huggy and Kissy.
Yeah, but I don't think it was. So those notes, like we just talked about right before in the video, I will pop them up on screen like when we were talking about it. Those were notes while they were there.
Okay.
If you were looking, so at the text of the videos, it said 8/8/1995. That was the time of the Hour of Joy, but the video started out several hours afterwards. Okay. And then it showed 5 days later, and then it was 10 days later. Those notes were in like when they were staying there. And then the last part, I guess the red text, or not text, the writing was probably Rebecca, if I had to guess, because they found, I think that because that was all his handwriting, giving notes and stuff like that. I don't think it was the experiment or the new character that we saw. What was the main thing that popped out to you?
I just want to say the main thing that popped out to me specifically is because this isn't exactly new information. If you read the notes, you know that PW and Rebecca were bunkered down for a long time. Mm-hmm. And when the monster came in to get him, this new character, what popped out to me is not because it's lore relevant or anything, but just because it's funny. The second they got in there, Rebecca left him behind. She was out of there.
Yeah, well, they got split up. So that screaming stuff, like when the part where it showed they were running in the view.
Yeah.
So the actual, what they said was that was Huggy Wuggy actually attacking them.
Oh.
Because you saw, it wasn't like the hand and stuff, it was just the yelling, but it wasn't like furry or anything like that. That was Huggy Wuggy attacking them. But
okay.
You're kind of missing the big point, though. The Hour of Joy was not the prototype's doing. He had a hand in it. It wasn't his idea.
Well, yeah, didn't you watch the video?
Yes, I haven't watched the video.
I get that.
Was the scientist idea.
All the people who felt bad and all the people who formed like an alliance to do this.
Yes, exactly. So if you go back to the email that PW sent to Stella Graber, because there's an old VHS tape back in chapter 2 that when she got moved up into the higher ups, because there's like 4 people, because the main higher ups, the CEOs of the company, all had what you called Omni chips, like the Omni hands and stuff like that. Only 4 people got them. She was one of them.
Okay.
But during her interview, she did feel bad, though. She felt like something was off.
Right. And then the big guy up top, I guess the person that was interviewing her was like, oh, don't feel too bad that or stuff like he was threatening for her to, that she would lose her job and stuff.
And at the end of the interview, though, she was like, but you know what, though, I can see that we're doing like a good thing and stuff. So she like played into it. So like as time went on, she could just feel more comfortable.
But she was definitely like PW in the sense that she didn't want to do this. Exactly. And that goes back to the email.
Exactly.
He reached out to her and probably a lot of other scientists who felt the same way, and they constructed the Hour of Joy.
So we don't know exactly who else was involved. We can probably infer that obviously in the video, Rebecca had no idea.
Yeah.
She was shocked. But it was PW reached out to Stella Gruberg and other scientists, we don't know who, all got and talked to start the Hour of Joy. Now, the original thing was, and actually what brought up good points was, it was not originally called the Hour of Joy.
It wasn't?
It wasn't. The prototype made it the Hour of Joy because you realize PW was actually supposed to leave the company 4 days before. So in the video, did you see the couple of times where it glitched on like that calendar?
Yes.
So On the 4th,
Because that calendar was on the book too,
yes.
the handbook. They shoved that in our faces so long beforehand.
But yeah, so right here, so on August 3rd, he was supposed to quit, but he was persuaded to stay.
Interesting.
New play care schedule comes in. And what date is that on?
8/8/1995.
There you go. What the scientist goal was, at least the handful of them in the Cellar Gribber and Preston, they wanted to, not for the experiments and stuff to go around and kill everyone and stuff like that. And they were, in the video, they didn't understand why they stayed. They just wanted to release all of them and just let them go free. Where the name, the Hour of Joy, comes into play. The prototype, remember in last video that we talked about how we sent, like Catnap sent around all those notes.
Yeah.
It said that you have to join us. You have 24 hours to decide, stuff like that. The prototype persuaded the experiments to get revenge and kill everyone.
Oh.
So it was the scientists, it was not their will for them to like just go off on everybody in the factory. They were just trying to release them and set them
free. And I guess the prototype might have gotten an ear in on this.
Oh,
and
yeah.
he was
You
like,
obviously, yeah.
And he was like, oh, okay, we're going to use this opportunity and just kill them all, you know?
In the video, it shows like they were just super confused for like, why are they still here? Why are they staying? They could easily just roam out and free and just go wherever they want.
That is
Leave the
weird.
factory.
That is very weird.
But then it talks about also too in the video how like they went around, left notes, and how like they saw like Poppy and stuff running around, but how PW talked about how he still didn't trust her. And this was obviously right before she was put in that case, as we saw in chapter 1.
Right.
This video gives a lot of insight though, and it gets us more into chapter 5, and it also teases that brand new character at the very end that PW ran into. This is all the big stuff that just came out here recently, and we obviously know the game is super close to coming out. It's going by super quick. We will keep y'all up to date as much as we possibly can. There's probably going to be stuff that literally comes out here in like 4 days. We're recording this on Saturday. That's pretty much it. If you got any other thoughts, Carter, at all?
It's definitely a lot of information that we're going to need to look over.
I was actually kind of shocked that they dropped it because we were so like
we were still like trying to digest and figure out the whole Catnap situation.
Oh yeah.
And now we've been given this.
Exactly. It gives us huge takes on the Hour of Joy, which we had a lot of questions. Thank you so much for joining me today, Carter.
Thank you very much for having me, Gabe.
Of course. And we will see y'all next time on the Titan Center podcast.
Catch you on the next one.